ICE agents are still roaming and swarming people's neighborhoods in our states. They moved on to Charlotte, North Carolina. This guy got hemmed up in Charlotte.
And Willie, you told me that you voted for President Trump in 2024. Do you regret that decision? ¿Te arrepientes esa decisión?
Yes, 100%.
Why do you regret that decision?
That's because it's nothing that's true. It's not true. You know, and the first time he says something, and now, example, in the Latino people, we see everything is different. And the first time example, he say he go to catch the delincuentes. Criminals, yeah. And right now, he don't follow to criminals. He go to specific to Latino people. Why Latino people? Because in the last Saturday, example, behind to me, I see the white people, the black people, and some people, Indian people, and Chinese people, and me. The DHS come specific to me and catch to me, not other people, because don't care to other people, specific Latino people.
Yeah, we're still in the phase of making sure we identify the folks that were in favor of this, that didn't understand what it was that they were in favor of. I would love to know what he thought when Donald Trump said mass deportation policy, when he dispatched Tom Homan onto Fox News to talk about mass deportation and how he's going to screw up everything and how these folks don't really matter. You know, the same way that Greg Bavino, I guess the latest star of this Nazi regime, continues to go on TV and probably tell people like that who voted for Donald Trump, you know what? Your skin is just a little bit too brown.
Has gone viral, and I want to get your reaction to it, of landscapers who were being addressed by this individual that you see in the video. What do you say to people when they look at that and say that falls outside of this purview of getting criminals out? What do you say to them?
Martha, do we know the criminal records of those so-called landscapers? Do we know the criminal records of any illegal alien walking the streets here in Chicago or anywhere else? What we're finding is child rapists in big box stores looking to go into people's homes or hang those Christmas lights like we see in this video here. How do you know who these people are? Do they have a criminal record maybe in their home country? Who are these people? Too many times we're finding that some very, very disreputable individuals are seeking work in people's homes, in their gardens, and otherwise. We don't want those people in society, and that's what we're after. And, I think we've done a really good job here in Chicago and other places to remove these types of individuals.
Do we know Greg Bavino's criminal history? Do we know how many laws Greg Bavino has broken and hasn't been arrested for or charged with because he calls himself the law? Do we know how many people he's assaulted? How many more people were affected by his tear gas canisters that he was tossing into crowds in Chicago? Do you know how many of those folks he beat up with weapons? How many of those people he assaulted? Do you know how many children Greg Bavino's potentially pedophile ass has stolen from parents? Because they do that too. Do we know all that about Greg Bavino? I mean, to me, to my brain, when I look at Greg Bavino, he looks like a criminal to me. He does. He has the criminal haircut. He has the criminal look in his eye. He has this lack of care about anyone else that looks like a sociopath. Greg Bavino could have done anything. I think we should just sweep him up, put him in a prison for a few months, and try and figure out whether or not we can charge him with something. And if we can't, how about we keep him there anyway? Because that's exactly what they're doing. But Greg Bavino somehow thinks he can go on Fox News and say, but what do we really know about those criminals that we determine that they're criminals after we arrest them? You know what? You don't have to even believe me.
Over your head. Hands over your head. Lights. All right, I've got it. On the ground. Lights. I'm not fed. I'm not resisting. Where's the rest? Do not resist. My medicine. And I got bad shoulder. Please, guys. Get up.
Oh my God, this man just like tased this woman. Border Patrol. Damn, that's up.
They just ID'd him. They just ID'd him. The other guy. Don't you f***ing guys coordinate with each other? They just ID'd him. They just ID'd him. You broke his windows. There was another truck that was here and ID'd him already. What the f*** is going on? And this is bullshit. What the f***? Hey, listen. He's got his ID there. He's got his ID. Get away from him. You put a stop on me again. He's got his ID. He already f***ing ID'd himself.
He's breaking the window. He's got an assault rifle pointed at her.
Oh my God.
This is being reported by WCNC out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Look at this. This Border Patrol agent is using the muzzle of his rifle to break through her window.
Can you hear them yelling, put the windows down?
I can't.
He's smashing her window.
And then they flex cuffed these two women, U.S. citizens, and WCNC reports they were detained because they were honking. They were honking, warning that Border Patrol was in the area, and for that they get their window smashed out by the muzzle of a loaded rifle and then flex cuffed as if they're enemy combatants in a foreign nation.
Yeah, those last folks were American citizens. The guy that was yanked out of the red truck had citizenship papers. All this happens, and they just don't care. So again, the defense will always be, well, maybe you shouldn't have been here legally because, you know, the goalposts keep shifting. It was supposed to be violent, dangerous criminals, which was always the case with any administration that deports people because all these administrations deport tons of people. The objective here was to just get to deporting anyone and then also arresting American citizens and saying that they were standing too close. Hey, actually, you know what's weird? I'm not just saying that either. There's evidence of that too.
David Brooks captured this Border Patrol arrest in Evanston, Illinois on Halloween.
Get back, I'm gonna shoot you. You're gonna what? You're gonna shoot me?
I'm gonna run that again. And look across the back seat of this car when the red-headed coward sumbitch, before he pulls his gun, his fellow coward agent across says, someone's behind you recording. Because, you know, that's dangerous.
David Brooks captured this Border Patrol arrest in Evanston, Illinois on Halloween.
Get back, I'm gonna shoot you. You're gonna what? You're gonna shoot me?
If someone responds to that guy standing there with a gun drawn in your face for standing there and recording, I feel like in this country, that's how shootouts happen, because if there's just some random 20-some-year-old punk kid rolling through the neighborhood, pulling guns out on people as they snatch people and throw them in cars, I feel like he'd get shot in the face. I just had that indication. Maybe based on all the people who said, man, you come on near my family, I'm going to shoot you in the face. I'm an American. I got my Second Amendment rights. They also preach about how they're Christian. Hey, here's one of those Christians that was protesting. Look how this Gestapo treats, people who pray.
Real sound of what's happening there on the scene.
This is wrong. I'm here because there's torture in that facility. It's a concentration camp, and because my conscience calls me to do it. What's happening here is evil, and the Illinois State Police are complicit in it. They're evil themselves.
That's apparently Reverend Michael Wolf in Chicago, who was arrested, slammed on the ground because he was there protesting because he understands the disgusting things that are going on in, I guess, specifically that Broadview, Illinois, Chicago, ICE facility. He talked about how it's a concentration camp. I keep coming back to the folks that would say before this guy got into office that he's going to have his military in the streets, he's going to have his brown shirts running around arresting people and targeting specific folks that they just don't like, that they consider second-class citizens or not citizens at all, even though they are. And also how they were backed up by this guy who kept talking about how he's Moses and he's all about God and things that he follows through his legislative approach to being a representative. Somebody should ask Mike Johnson, who's all about all this stuff, how he feels about actual Christians and actual believers of God and what they have to say.
As pastors, we, the bishops of the United States, are bound to our people by ties of communion and compassion in our Lord Jesus Christ. And we are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety around questions of profiling and immigration enforcement.
We are saddened by the state of contemporary debate and the vilification of immigrants. We are concerned about the conditions in detention centers and the lack of access to pastoral care.
We lament that some immigrants in the United States have arbitrarily lost their legal status. We are troubled by threats against the sanctity of houses of worship and the special nature of hospitals and schools.
There used to be, maybe there's some circles, there used to be people who would care enough, or that's compelling enough for folks to be like, oh, I call myself Catholic. I call myself Christian. I always thought I was on the right side of things, but my religious leaders, they're saying the right things, but they must be wrong because Donald Trump is more powerful, is more moral than these religious figures. Because what is it they were seeing? Specifically, Michael Wolff pointed out at the beginning here is some of the conditions that are being held, that these folks are being held in after they're illegally detained, snatched out of cars and separated from their children. Here's a status quo.
They have a toilet in view of all the men and the women and the agents. There is no privacy. A room that is supposed to have a capacity of 80 is holding between 150 to 200 people. The fact that they keep the lights on all day and night, which is considered a form of torture coming out of Guantanamo Bay. People are supposed to be able to sleep. The fact that they keep them in their clothes for several days. They don't, in Department of Corrections, they give you clothing, because you're not supposed to be in the same clothing for several days. There are no working showers in there. They have no blankets, no pillows. They are using aluminum blankets that some of them get, right? And then when someone leaves, all of a sudden they can use their blanket. And they also feed them, depending on their mood, anything from a piece of bread with mayonnaise on it, a single tortilla, or a small Subway sandwich. They give them bottles of water, sometimes 8 ounces, sometimes 16, and they have to decide if they want to use that water to drink or to wash their bodies. They get no toothpaste, they get no toothbrushes, no soap, any kind of sanitizer, no medications. They beat the shit out of these people in the street, and then they bring them in there and they throw them in a room with no medical attention. They break their ribs, they hit their faces, nothing. It's egregious. And anybody who is in that building and has seen what they do is complicit and has no humanity and no conscience left, because I don't give a what you tell yourself at night. If you can see how those people are being treated less than human, you're not human. They don't charge them with anything. And then it's up to them to get out of the system, to pay the money, to go to the courts. Everything they say is law, and then you got to get out.
Kind of like how fascists act. But they figure at this point, it's no more denying it. Everyone sees us running our random Trump-based law enforcement agencies to do whatever the hell it is they want, blatantly and openly. They just do what they want. And then they abuse people and torture them in these facilities afterwards.